Hi, welcome to Two Non-Doctors. I'm Liz Mealy.
I'm Maria Shahada.
And I think we're using like a new thing to record our podcast. We're just starting to try to be professional 4 years in. I only got a mic like 6 months ago.
I know.
Um, so I think I do love that we were just like, oh no, we'll see if this works out. Um,
Yeah, let's chance it. We're gonna do a whole podcast, and it may or may not record, but here we are. And I like it already. It's
yeah, it looks
purpose
really,
built.
yeah, it's like clear. I kind of All right, Riverside. I see what you're doing. I see. I see you flirting.
Free plug.
You owe us money. Um, yeah, I think I did a podcast recently on this. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. How are you?
I'm okay. I was in LA all week, and I don't like it there. I feel bad
Sorry.
because I mean, it doesn't. I mean, my sister lives there, and that is the reason. Like, if my sister didn't live there, I don't know if I would treat it like anything other than how I treat any city, where it's like I do my spot and I move on. You know what I mean? Like, I just to be there because I was there for 4 or 5 days, and luckily I got to see Emmy a couple of times, and I was with my boyfriend or whatever, and it was actually a trip for him. But I hate driving there. Even though I've had good food, I still like it's not worth it.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Like stand up sucks there.
Yeah, I have no motivation to do stand up there. If I'm not headlining, like why would I do a spot? Like I feel nothing.
Yeah. I get that. I mean, I miss the weather and my friends there and the food and, you know, acting and I do love it. I love it. I think I love it more than you've ever loved it. But you care more about stand up and I love the acting, directing, writing, TV, film.
But
Like
also
LA made for
that's
me.
dead right now, by the way. Like I've
Oh,
met
I know.
So it's
It
the
was
other thing is like you go and it's like everyone's depressed. Like I met with my manager and she's like things suck. Like it looks like it might start to get better in the next year or so, but because of the pandemic plus all the strikes and then the looming Teamster strike, which did get resolved, it does look like, things will start to get made again, but like it's like layoffs left and right, and every single person I talk to, like it's a ghost town. So
yeah.
it's like the redeeming quality of LA was the work, and nobody's working from top to bottom. Like even like the people that own, restaurants and food carts near the studios are going out of business because nobody's going to the studios because nothing's getting made. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like
I do. Yeah.
trickle down
Weird.
depression.
Yeah, it's weird because when I was there last there with you, I was like, ew, this it felt like an apocalypse. It felt like a zombie movie version of LA. There was a hurricane coming through, so there was
Yes.
that. That was part of it. But it wasn't all of it.
It wasn't all hurricane. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I I think all cities got hit hard post pandemic, and anything that needed months to make something, right? Because COVID, even when things kind of opened up, COVID would stop a production because of the Delta variant, or whatever. So it took like forever to get that kind of momentum. And then people weren't going to movies, and, streaming became a thing. Like all the changes that we did to adapt to the pandemic actually kind of hurt, Hollywood even more in a lot of ways. But like, I don't know, dude. I didn't like it before, and now there's no work and it sucks. Like, I don't know. I'm not seeing your turn, bro. Um, yeah, it seems a little ghost towny, and I don't want it. I would like showbiz to get their shit together. I would like things to get better, but I think it's gonna be again still a bit.
Yeah. I would love for everything to get their shit together because I am feeling it. I know no one else is. It's just me.
Just us. Yeah, just us. We're
We
just
barely
alone.
had a career before all of this. I am feeling it. Yeah, I know. It'll all bounce back. Everything does. But
Yeah. But yeah, so I was out there. My boyfriend is the supervising editor, writer, and producer of this documentary called Chimp Crazy. It's on HBO right now. But HBO Max, the first episode is out by the time this comes out. The first two episodes will be out by the time this comes out. But it's a 4-part documentary about a woman and her chimpanzees. I feel like that's all I can say. But it's really, really good. It's doing really well. It's been written a bunch. I've seen the first episode 3 times in a week.
why don't you just recite it for us here on this podcast?
Yeah, no, I truly could. I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Tanya Haddix, and I own chimpanzees." And then my cats are the chimpanzees. I'm like, dan, dan, dan. But it's good. It was really cool to see. I mean, I've also seen all the episodes 80 times just from him editing it and him showing it to me. So it was good to like see it on the big screen. It definitely has like a lot of funny lines, but there were like a couple of things that got a laugh that like I'm like sitting next to the executive producer and him as the supervising editor and producer, and they're both like, "What? That's a laugh line?" And I was like, it was really interesting to talk to him afterwards, where he's like, "Yeah, I made this in a vacuum." And it's like, I think it's good, and my team thinks it's good, but we don't know outside of it. And I was like, oh, I forget sometimes that stand up is like, oh yeah, this line works. It always works.
Yeah. I remembered about the web series because we had so few opportunities to air it in front of people. Like so there were a couple times where we'd enter it into festivals and they would play it on the big screen, and then you hear people laughing and you're like, cool, like 'cause,
Yeah.
you guess they might laugh there, but you don't know.
Yeah, it's like hope, and it's like I think you do this long enough, especially as a stand-up, that you know what the laugh lines are. But sometimes there's like you say something and you're like, oh, that was the setup. Okay, all right, we got
Oh
extra.
yeah, and sometimes you're like, I'm just gonna say this even though it's the dumbest thing I've ever thought of, and they're like, la, and you're like, really?
You're like, I'm
All
a
right.
genius, and I always knew that was gonna work.
Yeah, you're the same people who watch a blow dryer on YouTube.
Valid. Yeah, it was interesting, and he likes to joke all the time that I never watched a documentary until we started dating, and he's not wrong. I probably watched a total of like 3 documentaries,
You
and
didn't
this
watch
is like
Tiger?
I did watch Tiger King, and this is the same director as Tiger King.
I set
So
that up for you, huh?
yeah, you
Huh?
do. But yeah, it's interesting, especially when he told me about it because he'd been working on it for 2 years and we've been dating a year. So he told me about it on our first date, and I was like, oh, I saw that. Like, so it did help. Oh, so we went to a premiere in New York, and then we went to 2 different premieres in LA, and then on Sunday we went to the Hollywood Farmers Market, and both of us are starving. We're just like looking for food. And I hear like a couple of friends in front of us, and they're like, well, it's like Tiger King, but chimps. And I was like, Evan. And he's like, what? I was like, they're talking about the show. He's like, who? I was like, they are talking about like, and we ended up talking to him. And one of the girls had gone to the premiere and she was like telling her friends about it. But like, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be like man on the street promo. So like anytime we saw like a group of people, I was like, it's like Tiger King, but chimps. And it's this Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Like, but I want some promo money for all this. But no, it's been interesting. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I didn't know much about documentaries. He's been doing series his entire career, and like it comes out and he finds out how people feel about it is like wild to me. I
Yeah.
I just I don't know, that would just stress me the fuck out. That just
Yeah, you can't test it. You're just like, it's out now. There's nothing I can do. There's no
yeah, you can't
changing
fix
it.
it. You can't, like he was even saying, he was like, "Oh, I could see how that's confusing," and I was like, "Oh man, well the time to figure that out
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
was before you submitted it." Yeah, it's I don't know, it's been interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool to be able to see a different process than like the stand-up hour building a stand-up hour.
For sure. And it's a story, it's a story over 4 episodes. I learned a lot about like, leaving things on cliffhangers, like leaving things to like draw people in to watch the next episode, and how that's, clearly even more difficult when it's like a true story. So it's like you can't, if we were writing a script, we'd be like, and then he dies. And it's just like, well, he's still alive. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't, so it's just like about timing the story so that the cliffhangers work for each episode or whatever. And then like needing more footage, or like, I don't know. I found it. And what's funny is like, not to compare it at all because what he does is good, but like when me and Danny made our little like docu-series of us like traveling around Europe, like I'm like, oh, not knowing what we're doing, we did a pretty good job. Like it's funny to like learn the actual process and be like, we did pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about touring and mostly us doing things wrong, but I'm still proud of us.
Yeah. I'm terrible at cliffhangers. I'm like, I wrote a drama pilot and I just didn't know how to end it. And it's like, it's an ending, but it's not like, oh, I have to see what the next episode is. It's like she gets up in the morning, she brushes her teeth,
No.
and then and you're like, go to work? Yeah.
Yeah. But like her boss is mad and we don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah. Turns out he has a hangnail. It's annoying.
But yeah, and then it was also just to like, I've done a couple trips to LA for his work. So like, I guess I'm like a work wife. I'm just like a wife. It's very weird to meet people and just be like, "Hi, I'm Liz," a no-name person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, because you're normally like the comedian, and now you're like, I'm his girlfriend.
Yeah. No, I did. I was just like, I'm with that one. Although I did get recognized at one of the premieres, so that was fun.
Yeah. I mean, I bet you did. That's great.
If anybody wants to talk about it.
Yeah. Yes, I am Liz Mealy.
It was funny because I was
It's not about me tonight, though. So if you don't mind.
yeah, but there are these videos. No, I was with my sister, and of course my sister's like, I read all her material, and I was like, Emily.
Yeah. I love when I get recognized. I always get recognized on the street when no one else is around, and then you're that comedian girl. So like the next year is like, you're Maria. You don't have to know my last name. Know my first name. That's the next step up. That's what I'm hoping for next.
I did tape. Kevin Nealon has like a hiking podcast, and so I taped that with him the first day we were there. So we're just like hiking. I forget what park we were in, but we were hiking, and you're on a path and you have to like get out of the way. So we moved over so that they could get out of the way, and he was like, "Thank you." And the guy looks back, older white guy, and he's like, "Are you famous?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "From what?" And he's like, and he goes, "Oppenheimer." And he goes, "Yeah, that's it. That's not." You know what I mean? Like Kevin Nealon is
That's
not.
hilarious. Yeah.
But he was like, Kevin Nealon was so excited. He's like, "Can I use this?" He's like, "This is amazing." But the guy's like, "Yeah, that's it."
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't matter how famous you are. Someone's going to be like, do I know you from somewhere?
You either went to kindergarten together.
I had a whole joke about that. Yeah. Because in real life, I had met Smith Jared at Soho House. But I was drunk. He's a young boyfriend of Samantha on Sex and the City.
Okay.
And I was so drunk, and I was like, do I know you? I think you were in my improv class. And he was like, I don't think so. I was like, yeah, you were.
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay. How are you feeling? How are you doing? How was London?
I'm good. London's great. It's, you know what, I've learned to appreciate this weather. Very happy. And I started learning guitar again. Random left field. Maria Shahada is going to sing and songwrite. So like I was wailing very, very, very poorly on this guitar before this podcast. Just like banging on the strum in it, and singing at the top of my lungs. Because I learned stick season, which is 4 chords. So I learned the chords, and then I learned the song, and then I'm singing while trying to play it, which is its own game. Strumming is harder than you think, but I was doing it as badly as possible just to do it. And then I hear my housemate like go to the bathroom. I was like, oh fuck! I thought no one was home. There's nothing. I was
And
so
they're
embarrassed.
like, she went through a breakup. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's actually I did tweet that in when we were in Amsterdam, and the guy. Remember the bartender played stick season like 4 times. I was like, I need to rescue him. Like,
Oh yeah, was that it was Amsterdam. You said that. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, like I'm finding it like it's really nice. It's nice to just sit around and like kind of like strum and practice while watching TV or something. It just feels productive and it's just been a good get out of my writing brain and into something else.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to do more creative adjacent things. But like I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, it's so hard to get good at something if you're not obsessed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know how I would even get half decent at drawing if I don't work at it as hard as I did for stand up. And it's like I can't. My job is stand up and I love stand up and I never want to do anything more than stand up. I mean not more, but like whatever. But like I was like or like I'm trying to learn how to skateboard and it's like I haven't skateboarded in 2 weeks and I'm like I now follow all these like skateboarders and there's like an 8 year old doing ollies and flips and shit and I'm like I want to do ollies and flips but I'm never gonna do ollies and flips because I don't.
Not with that attitude. I don't think you have to have like the same fervor as stand up. Like I don't think you have to skateboard every night 5 times a night to get good at skateboarding. I think if you dedicated an hour to a few days a week, like it'll be a slow progression, but you'll start to see like a difference and then it'll kind of like inspire you to go more and more.
Yeah, and
If
it's so hard because the end game is just I want to do it because it's fun and I want to get good at it. And
yeah.
I have always struggled with, you know what I mean? It's why I did I always took things to extremes, right? Because I needed something outside of it to push me forward. Like if you sign up for a marathon and you don't train, you're gonna have a real bad day.
Yeah.
So, so I think, I mean, not to say I'm gonna sign up for like the X Games or anything, you know what I mean? And get like a Red Bull sponsorship, but like I would like to get better at it. And like, me and Evan went to like a skate park. He went surfing and then down the street was a skate park and we ended up hanging out in the skate park for like an hour and a half and just in that hour and a half I got so much better, but like now I haven't done it in weeks and
Yeah, I get that, but you'll pick up some of it, and then like it's still like forward momentum. I think I mean that's what the problem with the guitar. I was telling Johnny the same thing. I was like, there's I don't want to be like a musician in a rock band. Like I'm like I just want to play because it's fun. I
yeah.
do. I think it would be cool to do an open mic and like play and sing, but that's like the extent of my dreams for the guitar. So it's like I don't know how motivating that's going to be if I don't want to be a big rock star. Like, am
Yeah,
I going to want to push through all the hard parts
I don't.
just to be able to play it casually, you know?
I think if I
But so
roll my
far,
yeah.
huh?
I said
So
I think
far, I've seen enough. Shut up. So far, I've seen enough progress that it is building this momentum.
yeah.
So
But I think like anything, you just have to like carve enough time out for it. I mean, I don't know.
I'm kind of using August as like a school. Like I'm like learning to sing, learning guitar. I put on a couple of furniture restoration videos yesterday. I watched this girl do some beginner level restorations of like side tables. Like the easiest thing you can do. And it requires a lot of equipment, space, and like you got to live in like Canada. But like I'm never going to do that. But it was fun to watch. And it was kind of like, I would know the steps if I did want to if I saw something at a thrift store and I was like, well, it's kind of beaten up, but I love it. Like
Yeah.
but I'm not going to like turn it into a hobby or try to sell furniture that I restored. But it was just cool. But like I'm indulging all my ADHD interests right now.
I
You
think I
know,
am too, but I don't know if it's like burnt. I don't know if it's like burnt out and I need something that isn't work to, you know what I mean? To like relax. I don't know how to relax, so learning something is like a form of relaxing.
yeah.
Um, it's so funny. I had this thought the other day because like my special taping is in like a month, and one show's selling really well. The other one is like it's fine, but like I can't risk one being sold out and one being at half seats. You know what I mean? For, continuity as well as sound and whatever. So I'm just stressed, and I'm trying to figure out how to utilize this next month or whatever. And I came home late last night from LA. I just wanted to pick up a few groceries, so I had something in the morning. And I'm walking across the street, and I was like, my life would be perfect if I never taped this special. Like I was like, why do I make things hard for myself? Like I would have no problems. Like
That is so funny.
I was like, oh my God, if I didn't aspire to, and like, not even like I'm going to do the special and everything's going to work out. I like my hour. I want to put it on tape before I hate it and I want to move on. But I was like, oh my God, like, this is the most stressful thing in my life right now. And it's the only thing that's stressing me out. And that's like a luxury that my creative outlet that I make money doing, I just need it to go well so that I can live my best life. I was living my best life before I had dreams. Just so mad at myself right now. All
Oh,
right,
it'll
should we
pay
do it
off.
now?
You'll be happy. Yeah, just real quick about the drawing thing.
Yeah.
I was looking up the turtle. I had made a reference to, remember that turtle in the back of like magazines? It was like, draw this turtle and get like a free art school thing.
Yeah.
And I'd referenced that to Johnny, and he didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So I guess I didn't have the pirate and the turtle in magazines.
Yeah, but I think that could probably be super American. I'm sure some American
Yeah,
class.
so I looked it up to show him, but so apparently, like, it was a scam, obviously, because they would just give you like a discount off tuition. But I didn't know this. Charles Schultz did that because it's been going since the 1920s, and Charles
Oh,
Schultz did that, and that's how Peanuts got started.
shut up.
Yeah,
So is it a scam if it all worked out?
yeah, I know, right? So I submitted, and
Great, 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 great. You should see my turtles. They're incredible. I met a guy. So the director of Tiger King, this guy named Eric Good, he owns a turtle sanctuary, and and I was at one of these premiere parties, and one of the guys is a turtle vet. So I was like, "Oh, my parents are vets." He's like, "Oh, I'm a turtle vet," and I was like, "Yours isn't real." I was like, I know they obviously need vets, but I was like, what? And he was an Asian guy, so he was just, my parents are like, I have to be an engineer or a doctor. So I was like, fuck you, I'm going to be a turtle vet. And I was like, whoa, way to rebel, bro.
I love that.
But I loved it so much. I was like, that's awesome. Like, I love how specific it is. But I was like, oh, cool, I met a turtle vet. That was based on you drawing turtles. All
That's
right,
great.
I'm ready to move on.
All right.
Um,
Announcement.
Announcements. What? Do I have a special on September 15th in Brooklyn? You should come. The 7 p.m. is almost sold out. So, if that's the only one you can go to, get tickets. 9:30 is where we need humans. Everything is at lizmealy.com, but it's September 15th at the Bell House. You can see my new hour and be there for the taping for Space Camp. And then by the time this comes out, what are my next shows? Nashville, Atlanta, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Brooklyn, where I'm taping my special, Detroit, Chicago, everything's in a bunch. I just added a bunch of other cities. So lizmealy.com. And, if you haven't seen my special yet, go watch it on the YouTubers.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to be in Dublin September 19th through the 22nd, and International Comedy Club and Crackdown Comedy. Other than that, I'm around London.
Yeah.
mariashahada.com, and then follow us on Instagram at 2non-DRS. It's the number 2 non-DRS. And then Twitter and YouTube is at 2 full-word doctors, number 2 full-word doctors. And then Gmail, 2 non-doctors at gmail.com. That's the number 2 full-word doctors at gmail.com.
You wanna go first with the Googles?
Yeah, my Google was how long to rest a muscle group after a workout. I was really looking for a way to justify canceling my lift class because, like I said,
Uh-huh.
my teacher left. She went to Australia, and the new guy that came in, well, he's not new. He's just another instructor there. I've taken his classes before. He's kicked my ass before, He kicked it so hard this like past time I went. Yeah, and so anyway, I didn't want to go, but like because I had worked out on my own, and
But
for
like
some
you,
reason,
sorry, you were so sore, or like you were scared of them.
no, 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 I was sore. I was just like,
Okay.
I mean, he like you know how they fatigue your muscles, but like he was making me do push-ups I couldn't do, but I couldn't do it on my best day with my best arms, but he had already fatigued my arms. And then making me do push-ups and saying I couldn't use like be on my knees like to do the push-ups, like I had to be full body push-ups. Like I mean, I was dead by the end of that class. Like I did feel stronger after, but like to get into the mental headspace to go back to that, just because it was so hard, that's like I can't do it. So, but anyway, I'd worked out on my own with a YouTube video, and like for some reason, workouts at home don't ever feel like they're anything.
Yeah.
But I was sore from it, and I had worked out my shoulders and arms in that. And so I was like, how long do you have to wait for? Because I know you have to give yourself a day of rest after working out, but like particular muscle groups, how long do you have to give? And it's 48 to 72 hours. So 2 to 3 days you have to give. And it had only been one day. So I was like, oh, I guess I have to cancel my lift class. Oh no. So
So I guess my question is, your lift class, like, I do you know the workouts before you do
oh
them?
yeah, so they just started doing this thing. Like after my girl left, they started doing on ClassPass, they started listing, so it'll say lift and then it'll say like chest, shoulders, arms, or glutes, core, blah blah blah. Like it'll tell you what muscle groups are working out. And I had worked out my arms just the day prior, so I was like, well, I can't go work out my arms again. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be giving it proper rest.
You know what's so interesting about that is like I've always kind of halved it. I felt like I was doing CrossFit to my fullest, which is like if I'm home, I do it like 3 days a week, and if I'm not home, it's anywhere from like 1 to 2 days. And I try to always have like a day of rest in between. There's a couple of times I've gone 2 days in a row, but I really try not to. Um, and but like whenever, and I've been going to CrossFit for like 5 years now. Whenever I go, they were like, "Well, yesterday's class," or "As we know from last week," and then I'm like, "These fuckers are going every day." Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, why am I like? I just don't. And like, there are people that are like, "Well, you need at least one day of rest," right? So there's people that are like, "You shouldn't work out 7 days a week. At the very least, you should be giving yourself one day off." But like, I was always under the impression that working out more than 4 days a week was, but then I guess it's what your goals are, and I guess
I think it's like if you're working out 5 days a week, I think that you're supposed to be paying attention to what you did, and like so it would be like if you're doing training 3 of those days a week, then they're working out specific muscle groups. So by the time you're doing them again, it's been a couple days because
yeah,
like and then in between those is when you do cardio. So that's how you can work out 5, 6 days a week.
yeah. But I don't think these guys are doing that.
Yeah. Well, I always wonder because like yoga, the hot yoga schools will have like or gym. They're not gym studios. Okay, hot yoga studios will have like 30-day challenges where you're going to yoga every day for 30 days straight, and it's like that can't be good for you either, or
Yeah,
can it?
or maybe they're, because you're going 30 days straight, it's a certain type of programming.
It's
Nope,
not. It's
nope.
not. It's just the regular classes. You pick whatever you want, and then you just go for 30 days straight, and then you get a little. They'll either let you mark it with a marker, or you'll get a little sticker or something.
It's not what I want. At this point, it's a sandwich. I want a free sandwich for all the work I've done.
Yeah,
Um,
free
the
sandwich.
last thing I want is a sticker. Oh, cool. Um, yeah, I mean, I've always known you need to, like, if you don't let your muscles rest, they can't, like, resting is just as important as working out, to build muscle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just Googled it. Some say it's safe to practice yoga every day for 30 days, but you should be mindful of any muscle or joint fatigue and adjust your practice accordingly. Um, yeah, so they're saying some people say it's okay. That's unhelpful. Thanks, Google, for nothing.
Okay.
What was your Google?
Mine's dumb. I feel like we talked about it before. I ordered scallops because all our meals were paid for on this trip, and I was like, I'm getting scallops because I genuinely love scallops.
You're
I
good.
feel like the problem with scallops is they're so expensive, and then there's three of them,
Yeah.
and like I'm not a big person, but I'm gonna need more than three like I don't know, Dippin' Dots or whatever it is. Like, so
It's such a funny image.
they're so tiny. But my my friend Amanda, her husband is a marine biologist, and I mean, I forget how we got on the topic, but last time I went to visit them, I said something about like, why are scallops so fucking expensive? Is it because there's like 6 of them in the ocean? And he was explaining, but he basically said that like not most, but there's a lot of scallop fraud, and it's like a fish that they just cut to look scallop size, but it's not actually scallops. And I was like, what? And so I was like, how do you know? And so he said, if you cut it, like you put the scallop on the side and you cut it in half, it should look like a tree trunk. Like the lines of it should look like a tree trunk and not like
Like a crab stick.
yeah, like straight lines, because straight lines is a fish and tree trunk is a scallop. So I cut it and I was like, oh no, this doesn't look like a tree trunk. Did I get fake scallops? They were really good, by the way. So like the waiter came over and I'm like dissecting it. Like I looked crazy, by the way. I was by myself too, because like Evan had a meeting and I was like, I'm just gonna eat at the hotel. And I'm like by myself, like half on my phone. I was like doing work and then I'm dissecting scallops. Like I looked crazy. Um, um, and I was like, how's it? I'm like, it's good. These might not be real. So okay. Um, okay, so this is the AI overview of this Google. So it says fake scallops are often made from less expensive fish like shark or stingray and are chemically treated to look like real scallops. Real scallops are the meat of bivalves. I don't want to say that. Like clams, oysters, and mussels. And no two scallops are the same shape or size. And there are some ways to tell the difference. So real scallops, there's like an irregular shape, and distinct grain patterns, while fake scallops are identical and look like perfect cylinders. I don't feel like it looked like perfect cylinders, but I don't know. Maybe they've caught on and they're like putting dents in it and stuff. I'm such like I'm
What
in
are you
my
doing? I'm beating the scallops.
I'm definitely in my like scallop conspiracy theory era. This is how I know I'm getting older, where I'm just like I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna ruin this restaurant. Um, Real scallops are firm and not slimy or sticky. Fake scallops are denser and more solid. Real scallops smell sweet, briny, and ocean. I'm not smelling them. I'll be honest. This is not wine. Fresh scallops are creamy white pale, while fake scallops may be gray or yellowed. Maybe they were real. I don't know. The biggest thing is they're saying is if it's like identical cylinders, um, and are cut from like a mold or whatever. It wasn't really describing what my friend's husband was saying, but I don't know. I guess like there's just a little like I don't know what that is that like you can't fool me. Like
Yeah.
even though I wasn't gonna do anything, like I wasn't gonna be like this is especially because I wasn't even paying for it. But I just wanted to know, and they were delicious, by the way. I just don't know what my problem was, but I just like I was googling it while dissecting it while enjoying it, and I
Well, I
just
could see wanting to know just to know. You're like, oh, I can tell the difference now, you know? And I mean, like, I swear to God, every time I'm at a wedding, like when we're at the reception and somebody's like, oh, I'll have a cup of coffee. I'm like, it's decaf, right? Like, because just working in catering, like, you just know that they make everything decaf. So A, there's no mistakes, and B, like, it's just easier. So it's
oh I
just
didn't
like,
know
I'm
that.
like, yeah, oh, yeah, by the way, all your coffee at any kind of catering situation, it's going to be decaf. It's decaf, right? Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that's half of what I watch on the internet now. It's just like I know things.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
exactly. But it's stuff like that you just want to know. You're like, I could tell the difference. I picked out these fake scallops. I'm not going to do anything about it, and they're delicious. But
But
I
like,
know.
but like, if Evan was there, I'd have been like, I'm like 64% sure these are fake. What am I doing? Like, what is this? Like, what is this? Like, I can't think of anything more annoying and unhelpful
Yeah.
than like based on like a half a fact and Google and this lighting. I'm not confident I know if this is real or not.
Some girl with big boobs walks by, and he's like, don't even.
Uh, so yeah, that's I don't know what midlife crisis I'm going through, but I did. I spent a dinner by myself doing that.
Do you know what I just realized? Like my camera, the cover's on it, yet it still works. I just derailed this conversation. I'm
You
sorry,
know, I
but
love
like,
it.
it doesn't make any sense to me that the cap would be on.
So is it not? Isn't it using your computer camera then?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, Muffin. I think it's using your computer camera. I don't think it's like cap on
oh yeah,
idiot,
it is. Yeah,
idiot. Yeah.
I can.
I'm sorry. We're 5 years into this.
I don't, I don't even know if it's recording. Like,
Dude,
we're gonna find out after we
I
end it.
I thought of this the other day. It's one of my favorite moments with us on the road. It was like the first year we were in London, like the first tour we did, and we couldn't get through the turnstiles. So
Yeah.
everybody else is going through the turnstiles, and we pulled to the side, and you're like, everyone else has figured it out.
It was literally like massive amounts of people just going. There was 100 people going through, like la da 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 da, and they were just like,
It
and
was
then
seamless.
we got stuck at the first hurdle, and we're just like everyone else figured it out.
Everybody else figured it out. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for being our friends.
You're doing a great service, and we will see you guys next week.
See you
Bye.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.